Hello, everybody. Lewis, Norwich City Central. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you've all kind of had a sit down, had a chance to relax after the Man City show. Plenty to get through in this one. Of course, Norwich have made a new signing, the TalkSport kind of drama as well. And of course, I think we need to talk about Man City as well. I'm joined, of course, by Doeke. Doeke, how are we doing, mate? How are we doing?
Recovered from Man City. And I guess I'm okay. I'm looking forward to tomorrow night cup game. I do love a cup game, and keeping positive as always.
Yeah, because I think we should get to the Man City news first, the Man City game first, before we kind of go on about Norwich's signings and the transfer window, and of course the latest on TalkSport. Man City, it wasn't great, mate, was it?
No.
And of course, you went to the game. I saw your match day experience. It looked like a fun day, and it's great to see away days back. But the game itself, it wasn't a great one, was it?
No, the away day was class. It was a class for mates. A few beers, whatnot, a few laughs, memories made. That sort of thing was great. The football side of it, however, was absolutely diabolical. I know it's Man City. I get it's Man City. I get we're never going to really challenge Man City at the Etihad unless something remarkable happens, like when we beat them 3-2. But
unless you got Johnny Howson on the pitch,
unless you got Johnny Howson, we didn't. With Billy Gilmore instead. But no, I thought we rolled over and just let them run over from the get go. And that's what really disappointed me the most, because I don't mind losing, because we're in the Premier League. We're going to lose games. It's going to happen. But as long as we put a bit of effort in, put a bit of fight, determination, I have no issue with losing. But we didn't put any fight in. We just rolled over and let Man City do the job. One shot off target the whole game just speaks volume for me. We didn't do anything. We didn't really get out of our own half. I was just more interested in a 5-year-old kid giving us all the middle finger during the whole.
that was doing the rounds of social media. Was it kind of happening quite a lot throughout the game?
Yeah, I don't know why. We knew we were awful today. We didn't care. But that was the most entertaining thing of the game. And also, one thing I am fuming about was at half time. You expect Man City, with all their financial excellence, they'd be able to have a few pies left at half time. No pies at half time. I was really disappointed.
Yeah. That's it, mate. That's it. I think with all their kind of billions in net worth owner, that speaks volumes of just how poor the day was. But if you are new to Norwich City Central, please do subscribe. And if you are watching on catch up, hello to the people in the past. Hope you're doing well. But yes, please do consider subscribing for consistent Norwich City content. And Doeke, of course, you did a match day experience. Plug away, mate. Plug away the day, because it was certainly a fun one, mate.
Yeah, I'm guessing my link is in the description again.
Of course, mate. Of course.
But if not, it is literally my name that is on the screen that you can see right now. That is my channel name. The most recent video is the Man City matchday experience. If you want to go check it out and see what I got up to on that day, it was a good day, good away day. The beers were there, the laughs were there, the football not so much. But go check it out.
Yes, definitely. But going on to the Man City game again. We were there at Carrow Road, mate. It was beautiful to be back at Carrow Road. And although we lost 3-0, I think we came out of the game feeling relatively positive. Of course, the opening day of the season, we kind of felt, you have those opening day vibes where it's just great to be back at Carrow Road. But in terms of our performance, there's plenty of things that needed work on. But the players put in the real fight and real desire on the pitch. There was a clear game plan. And Liverpool, for the first 20 minutes, I think we had them kind of at evens. It was a relatively decent display. This game against Man City, 4 of the 5 goals pretty much were the same goal, where Man City have an overload on the right and then switch it to the left. It was just the same errors continuously happening. Just what went wrong compared to the Liverpool performance? What was it that was so bad about the City game, mate, in your eyes?
Mate, it's really hard to pinpoint because everything went wrong near enough. The whole game plan seemed to go out the window as soon as the players step onto the pitch. There's so many individual errors as well on the pitch that for me, I was absolutely fuming with. And one player, I'm going to get maybe a bit of stick for this in the comment section, but one player I was absolutely fuming at during this 90 minutes was Teemu Pukki.
Right.
I was furious with Teemu Pukki.
Why was that, mate?
Well, there was one instance. It was towards the end of the first half. Giannoulis got the ball. We're going on the attack, a bit of a counter attack actually. Plays the ball to Rashica, and you're screaming for Pukki to be on that last man to make that run in behind. Do you know where he was? He was in line with the two centre halves. Our centre halves, by the way. Like, if the bloke ain't fit, don't start him. Don't start him.
Particularly when Josh Sargent's had a pre-season as well in Germany.
Exactly, and when he came on, we created our best goal scoring opportunity of the game instantly. I mean, I love Pukki to bits. You know what he's done for us is absolutely fantastic. But if he isn't fit to start, don't start him. We can't be sentimental when we go out to the Premier League because players have scored God knows how many goals for us. If they're not fit to start and they're not ready to play, don't play them. Play someone who's hungry, aggressive, and wants to play. Yeah,
and Pukki's done incredibly well. He's done so well, but there's been so much pressure on him physically and mentally year after year in terms of the workload in the Championship, 46 games, every international break. While we have a kind of 2-week kind of break from the football, he's there in Finland, kind of being their talisman, kind of driving them on. And of course, in the Euros as well, played a lot, but he's been struggling. I don't know what it is. It seems to be this type of injury where it's a tweak and he doesn't seem to be able to run it off. It feels like, I don't know if it's his age or an injury, but it feels like he's lost that yard of pace and maybe that real, giving everything on the pitch. And when you've got someone like Josh Sargent, who we've spent £8.5 million with, I think it's time to start him. And I think it is time to change things up for Man City. But I agree with you there. But my big issue with the Man City performance was, okay, yes, our fullbacks were getting caught out every single time. But my big issue was the lack of physicality. I look at someone like Billy Gilmour. He's had a really good start to the season. And I see a lot of, ironically enough, 2 Chelsea players in him. I see a bit of N'Golo Kante and Jorginho in him in terms of Kante in terms of his size and his kind of tenacity and work rate, and Jorginho in terms of kind of his range of passing and his ability to control a game. Chelsea are fine doing that in terms of having a Billy Gilmour type figure in there because they have lots of the ball and you kind of only need one of them in there. From what I've seen from Norwich and all these years of Premier League football, I honestly think Billy Gilmour is going to be our central defensive midfielder. I've seen no transfer links. I honestly think we're going to go into this at least till January as Billy Gilmour as our central defensive midfielder. And for me, I really want to see someone a bit more physical, a bit more dominant, especially that, we missed that against Man City alongside Billy Gilmour. And I feel like we're really missing that player going into the Premier League season. We still haven't replaced Alex Tettey, mate.
We haven't. No, we haven't. And that is the thing. And one thing that I wouldn't be against going into Leicester is starting Jakob Sorensen. I wouldn't be against it at all. Someone who knows the centre defensive midfield position like the back of their hand. He's strong, he's physical, he'll get stuck in. And yes, he may not be technically our best player, but if we're looking for someone to cut play out, be that sort of brute in the midfield, Jakob Sorensen could be the man, realistically. And I wouldn't be against it because, Billy Gilmour was one of the 2 players that I think in the starting 11 that can come out of that game with their head held high. I thought, he played well. Like you say, he was everywhere across the pitch. He actually fought for the shirt, and his range of passing as well was fantastic at times. And you could see he was a level ahead of every single Norwich player on that pitch, which was great. So Billy Gilmour was one of the players that can come out of the head held high. The other one I thought was Milo Rashica, the only one going forward that looked like he could do anything to that Man City defence.
Yeah, I've been impressed with him opening 2 games. He looks a little bit rusty, but you can see there's a real kind of determination there and an ability with the ball, which I love. And I just love to see someone running at defences.
100%, yeah. And he is that man. And I think it's also time to stick Todd Cantwell in the 10 and start Zolis because we are too slow going forward. It's far too slow. We haven't learned from the last time in the Premier. We were far too, just lethargic going forward. It was just the pace of the attack. We're never going to break Man City down. The only way you're going to break Man City down is on the counter. When they've got players forward, we need to have that pace. And Zolis will bring that. Rashica will bring that. Sargent will bring that.
Yeah, particularly when, mate, when we're trying to play out. We're trying to play like, Brighton in terms of playing out from the back, and Leeds do it as well with a little more pace. I'm all for that, but in the Premier League, where in the Championship that worked, and I still think it can work, but we're in the Championship where we can play out from the back and teams will sit back. In the Premier League, we're going to play out from the back, but teams are going to press us. They're going to be a lot more on us. We saw that in the Premier League, and unless you've got pace to counteract that, then I just don't see it working effectively like in the Championship.
And also, we just don't. We simply the harsh reality of it is we simply don't have the quality of players to beat every team's press. We simply don't. On the occasion we will, but there's also a time where we need to adapt. And when we do play these bigger teams, such as Man City and Liverpool, we need to adapt our playing style to, I guess, suit the individuals on the pitch and be able to counteract their press. Which playing out from the back may not be the one. There's other options that we can go down, but it's just whether Farke will. I don't know necessarily. I think Farke can adapt. I don't think it's the fact that he can't adapt. I think it's that.
I think he can.
Yeah, 100%. And I think he's just got such a strong philosophy in possession-based football and building play up from the back that he will just stick with it and just try to prove everyone wrong. But I think, if push comes to shove, I'm pretty sure he can change up the system a bit and it will work successfully with us, 100%.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for all your comments coming in through so far. A lot of comments, perhaps unsurprisingly, not about the Man City game, but about the TalkSport. I see Billy Dalton here. What is the TalkSport nonsense? So we'll get into that very shortly, mate. Reese Brown, thanks for joining the stream, mate. Come on, boys, stick it to the TalkSport plebs. Love that from you. What else have we got here? Thoughts on Alex Cook's statement on Norwich. We'll get to that, and a big thanks to the donation. Thank you, mate. Really appreciate that. Hey fellas, loving the stream. Jamie O'Hara is a dusty baller who punches 14-year-olds.
Oh, that is fantastic.
Full stop. Can we say any more, mate?
I love that from you. I absolutely love that. That is fantastic. Oh, I hate Jamie O'Hara with a passion. Just hate him.
Was he the one who went on Big Brother as well because his career ended? And I feel like he was like playing for Dartford or someone like that, and he went on Big Brother to try and well, there you go.
He played with Billy Ricky. I mean, and punched a 14-year-old. I mean, it's just a bit. Well, I don't know. He's trying to stay relevant, but it's not really working for him. He's turned himself into a bit of a moron, really.
Thank you for that, mate. I really appreciate it. We will get to the TalkSport shortly. But one final thing from the Man City game, mate. We've spoken about the physicality. We've spoken about the lack of fight from what we saw against the Liverpool game, for instance. We spoke about the lack of pace. And one other thing as well, as Cameron Hansel points out, the disappointing thing about the Man City games that we conceded 4 the same goals, exactly that. In the first half, Giannoulis was getting caught out so many times in terms of the ball on the right-hand side of the pitch. A switch of play, a fullback coming up high at the pitch and then getting running behind. And then towards the end of the game, I thought Ballymunba did well when he came on, but same again in terms of the goal. That was really disappointing to see. The same errors happening in the game, mate.
100%. And, it was really annoying to see from Dimmy as well, because Dimmy was our best player against Liverpool. He was fantastic in every department of the pitch. He was really good defensively, really going forward, did really well against Liverpool, and I was really proud of him. And then it came to this game, and I don't know, it was just the fact is it wasn't Jack Grealish on that flank. It was Gabriel Jesus. It was Gabriel Jesus. He was getting torn apart by Gabriel fucking Jesus. I mean, like, it's just so annoying. Not taking anything away from Gabriel Jesus. He's a good striker, but he's a good striker. He's not a great striker. He's not even a winger. How is he tearing up our left back, who's supposedly the best left back in Greece? Don't get me wrong, Greece are the greatest footballing nation in the world, but you can't be getting torn apart every single time like that. It was just relentless. And then obviously Ballymunba, bless him. He's a young lad. Clearly isn't Premier League quality yet. I believe he will be, definitely, but isn't yet. He did okay. But again, as soon as they bring on Raheem Sterling and Riyad Mahrez, it's game over.
That's it, that's it. And I expect Ballymunba to start against Bournemouth, and I'm sure he'll be okay there. A couple more. It looks like we haven't learned from last time in the Premier League. Still weak from set pieces. Kinda, I would actually kind of disagree with that in terms of in the Championship. We in Farke's 3 seasons before, we were terrible at set pieces, but I feel like in the Championship we were a lot better with set pieces. I don't know about you, Doeke. I feel like that was just the one-off thing.
Yeah. We improved defensively, but there were still cracks. It was more or less paper over the crack sort of thing in the Championship last season. I think we did improve, but there was still improvements to be made this season.
And to be fair, thinking about the Liverpool game as well, I guess the Mo Salah goal came from the corner, and I think Lise Malou also cleared one off the line. So maybe there might be some truth in that, certainly as the season progresses. But I do agree with that. We lack a leader and just that Premier League experience. That word doesn't always sit right, but I do agree in the context of Premier League experience in terms of just having players who know what it takes at this level. And it doesn't necessarily mean having a 35-year-old, centre back or, aging players, but just a little bit of experience, a little bit of maturity. And that can go a long way, mate.
100%. And obviously, you did say 35-year-old centre back. I was about going to Gary Cahill, who probably is a centre back.
We would like him.
I mean, he's gone to Bournemouth now, and I feel like that. And there was another player, I can't remember who, but it was an experienced Premier League player, and he signed somewhere else. And it's just like missed opportunities here and there on experienced Premier League players who will benefit us in the long term massively. It does frustrate me. It really does. Yeah,
definitely, mate. Cameron Hansel, perfect segue, mate. This is why the Williams deal isn't all that bad. We all know Giannoulis has got the quality, but it's hard adapting to the Prem straight away. I think there's definitely some truth in that. I thought Dimitri Giannoulis was excellent against Liverpool. But yes, in terms of the Brandon Williams deal, the new signing, can play left back, right back. It's a really interesting one. What do we think of Brandon Williams, Doeke, and guys in the comments?
I've seen a lot of people not happy about the signing Brandon Williams. How can you not be happy? I'm buzzing with it because the fact is it's another defensive option. It's another defensive option, and I love that because the fact is defensively we've struggled the past 2 games. We need someone of Premier League experience, and this is exactly what you were touching on earlier. Brandon Williams isn't, he's a young lad, but he's got Premier League experience. He knows what this league is like, and also from what I've heard from United fans, he's an absolute shithouse. He is an absolute shithouse, and I cannot wait to see him play. I heard he might be available for tomorrow, which is fantastic because I want to see him start. I want to see what he's about. And, like Cameron has said, Giannoulis has got the quality. We've seen that in the Championship. We saw that against Liverpool in glimpses. Obviously, Man City wasn't his day. And it is hard adapting to the Prem, which is why I'm still a full Giannoulis fan. Because, he is going to struggle against Man City. There's no doubt about it. But it's just painful to see him do so. But 100%, Giannoulis will come good. But if Giannoulis does have a bad game, and we do need a replacement, Brandon Williams is an ideal option.
Yeah, that's it. And there was a comment earlier from Billy. I'm sorry, I lost it, Billy. But if Max Aarons goes, let's say there's a crazy bid at the kind of towards the end of deadline day or something like that. I think that also covers this as well because he can play left back, he can play right back. It's a really interesting one. I spoke about it in my video, as I said. I think this is someone who makes sense from Norwich, as you said, Doeke. Can come in. He's got that Premier League experience. He's a bit of a shit house. I think I remember him actually playing against Norwich a couple of seasons back, and he comes through on the left flank. Tim Krul comes running out. And Brandon Williams' thought is just to try and match Tom Daly's kind of Olympic records and does one of the worst dives I've seen, but wins a penalty. And I think in the same game, he misses a sitter from about 3 yards. But on the Brandon Williams, in all seriousness, he's someone who can play both sides, someone who is got that experience, and Man United fans rate him very highly. But from his perspective and from Manchester United's perspective, they, of course, want him to come out and get a lot of Premier League football. Is he going to get that? Because surely if I'm Brandon Williams, I want to be promised I'm playing first team football. Does this not mean maybe he comes in as a first choice left back? Or because you don't think so? If I'm Brandon Williams and I'm at Man United, I'm probably going to get the cup game here and there. I might get a Champions League game possibly here and there. But if I'm going to Norwich, I want to be playing every single game if I'm him.
I mean, can you not remember Marcus Edwards about 4 or 5 years back? He wanted to play every game. He got 9 minutes of first-team football with Norwich. But no, Brandon Williams will get first team football. I do see him get a first team football, but I don't see him replacing Giannoulis or Aarons. I mean, look how many different fullbacks we had last time in the Premier League. You know, Sam Byron played loads of minutes, Jamal Lewis played loads of minutes, Max Aarons played loads of minutes. There's probably another fullback somewhere that was also playing loads of minutes. Brandon Williams will play a fair few minutes because the fact is, I think he is, like you said, like you said, he can operate in the right, he can operate in the left. If one of Aarons or Giannoulis does pick up an injury, which has happened last season, or a suspension, we've got an ideal replacement. And obviously, he's definitely going to get minutes. Obviously, midweek games, fixture congestion during the Christmas period, he'll get minutes. FA Cup games will get minutes. League Cup games will get minutes. He may not be first choice over Giannoulis, but he'll certainly be very much in and around the first team, without a shadow of a doubt. And he'll be getting a lot of minutes.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, I've seen a lot of positivity about him from Man United fans. I have seen a few comments, like he mentions there, where he has had a little bit of criticism. So it's a real tough one. But for me, I still think he's going to come in and kind of my conclusion on the deal, he's going to come in and really push Max Aarons and Dimitri Giannoulis. My main concern about the deal is, as Edward Hines says here, do you think we'll sign a centre-back or central defensive midfielder? Now, in the Premier League, you're allowed 2 loans from Premier League clubs. So, of course, we've got Billy Gilmore on loan, and now we've got Brandon Williams on loan. That means we've now used the loans up. I think there's probably waiting for one of those spots in the desperation, the real hope to the gods of trying to sign Oliver Skipp, which, of course, isn't going to happen. He's a Tottenham first-team player. But, for me, if with a couple of days left, sometimes having that Premier League loan option will help. And I think Brandon Williams is a good signing, but as Edward kind of alludes to, I don't think this is the main guy Norwich City should be signing. I think it should be a centre back or a central defensive midfielder to, a bit of physicality alongside Billy Gilmore in there.
100%, but I don't think Brandon Williams is kind of that last signing. I think Farker's already said it as well in multiple press conferences in the past few weeks, that we will be looking at a centre-back. We will be looking at a CDM, and we do hope to sign them. And
do you reckon, though, Doeke? Do you reckon we will be getting a central defensive midfielder? Because I can't see the... I know transfer speculation comes, and sometimes a player comes and we sign him the next day, but I'm honestly not convinced. I honestly think Norwich City might see Billy Gilmore as that central defensive midfield option, which, don't get me wrong, could be a good decision. But from a Norwich City perspective, I'm not sure if that's the right call.
No. Farker has said they're looking at those options, and obviously there has been the odd link here and there. But if I can see us signing 2 more players. The fact is, Milo Rashica came out of the bloody blue. PLE's Blue happened within one day. Anything can happen. Transfer window's still open. We still have money to spend. We do still have money to spend. We can buy a quality centre defensive midfielder for 5 million. We can buy a quality centre half for 5 million. If we look in the right places, which I'm sure we will do, because our recruitment system is absolutely fantastic. It's out the park sort of thing. We're scouting some of the... I don't
know. I think it lacks sporting integrity, Doeke, to be honest with you.
God, you're going to get me... Oh, you're going to get me angry. God. Oh, I'm not... Yeah, no, it's not good for the Premier League.
I've lost your train of thought there, mate.
Yeah, you have. No, but I do think we'll sign centre half in the CDM. We've got to. There's no way we can't. I won't be able to, if we get relegated this season and we don't sign a CDM or centre half this transfer window, I'll find it very hard to forgive Webber. Very hard.
Yeah. And they've done incredible things off the pitch. I think we're one of the most well-run clubs in the country, particularly in our bracket. There's dozens and dozens of clubs who are of a similar size to Norwich, and a few of them now are in League One, and quite a lot of them have been stagnating in the Championship. So, I think Norwich are well run, but for me, it does seem a bit bonkers when that was our issue last season, and you lose Oliver Skipp, you lose Alex Tetty, and to not sign a player in that position, it does seem a bit of a weird one. Lucas Rupney's replacing. I thought he was okay against Liverpool, but I do agree with you, mate. If Norwich have I would love to play for Norwich City, but they need to be ruthless. They can't let me playing for Norwich. You need to be having a great starting 11, and Norwich have said goodbye to Tom Tribal, Mo Leitner, who did brilliant things in getting us up from the Championship to the Premier League. Marcus Stiepermann, Mario Rancic, Alex Tettey, all these players have really contributed to us being a Premier League club. Lucas Rupp, I don't think, has had that same contribution. And I wouldn't say necessarily Rupp needs replacing, but he can't be anywhere near that starting 11, in my opinion. Would you agree with that, Doeke? What was he like against Man City? I know it's hard to really single out players because they're all pretty poor, but not the one.
Yeah, to define whether Rupp is Premier League quality or not, you have to give him a fair few more games. Liverpool, Man City, for a player who is kind of like, I would say unproven, because the fact is he's played out of position last time in the Premier League. I'd say unproven. If we were to judge Rupp on his Premier League quality, we'd have to give him 5-6 games, sort of thing. Man City, he was dog shit. He was absolutely fucking awful. Liverpool, he was okay. He looked all right. Didn't look out of place. So you win some, you lose some, I guess. But we'll see how Rupp gets on. Obviously, I don't think he's going to be our starting midfielder. But if he does well, I'll sing his praise. If he does bad, I will let people know about it.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. And then on the Brandon Williams, if you look at Dimitri I know I've mentioned it a lot, but if you look at Dimitri Giannoulis and Max Aarons, Brandon Williams is going to push, you'd imagine, both of those players really hard, because they're not going to want to lose their spots. And that's why I think we need another centre-back, because Omar Bamadeli is someone who's young. I kind of agree that he shouldn't be loaned out. I think he'll learn a lot playing, kind of training with these Premier League players and maybe getting a minute here and there in the cup. But we need to sign a centre-back who's really going to push Grant Hanley, Ben Gibson, maybe even someone who's better than Grant Hanley and Ben Gibson. From the first two games, who do you think has performed worse, Hanley or Gibson?
Incredible question. I think they've both been as good and they've both been as bad as each other, to be honest. It's hard to single one out, realistically. They come as a pair. Two peas in the pod.
Yeah, quite literally in terms of their characters as well. I think Grant Hanley will be really disappointed for the first Man City goal. I think we're speaking about Giannoulis and how poor he was, but Hanley's got to have his positioning better for that first goal. But look, Grant Hanley and Ben Gibson have been excellent. They were excellent in the Championship, and although we've conceded 8 goals, which isn't a best start, I still think they can come good and do well. But certainly another centre back coming in would be really nice. I really don't see what Farke sees in Rupp, but he loves the lad. I still think he's a decent Championship player. Yeah, I would go along with that as well. I think he could do a good job in the Championship, but we signed him for £500,000 in the January transfer window back when we're in the Premier League, and I don't think it's one that probably worked out as well as it probably should. Really interesting comment here. Are Norwich too nice and too passive? No aggression in this team. It's an interesting point. This has always been a topic of conversation for Norwich in the Premier League, being too passive, always being a bit too nice, being the nice club. In the Liverpool game, I think Liverpool made 14 fouls and Norwich only made 3. And in this game, I'm pretty sure Norwich only made a few fouls as well. So would you agree with that comment, or is it a bit of a kind of a simplistic comment?
100%. 100% agree. Because I don't think any player showed aggression on that pitch besides Rashica and Gilmore. And as soon as Sargent come on, there was a 50-50. He was aggressive. He wanted to win that 50-50, which he did. It created a goal-scoring opportunity for us. Why can't Pukki be that aggressive? Why can't Cantwell be that aggressive? Why can't Rupp, Lees Malou, any of these players, why can't they be that aggressive? There shouldn't be an excuse to risk injury. You're risking yourself more injury backing out of a 50-50 and not being that aggressive. So, I do agree with that. Norwich are too nice at times. We don't. We struggle to kill teams off.
That's always been the way. I think they've always lacked that kind of ruthless streak, and I think we had that with Lambert that first season. But I think we've missed that ruthless streak, mate. But to be honest, we're commenting about these two games here, but it's Liverpool, it's Man City. Liverpool was a decent performance. Man City, it wasn't great, and confounded by the lack of pies at the Etihad, I'm sure, mate. But it wasn't great. But look, we've had a disrupted pre-season. Some will say that's an excuse. I get why some would say it's an excuse. It's not an excuse now. We've had the 2 weeks. We've played the two toughest teams. They're probably out of the way. Now it's against Leicester. this is when it starts. Now, this is where we can learn from the kind of 2 mistakes against the 2 best teams in the Premier League and really go at them now. I don't see anything of concern yet. Of course, there was some disappointing things in the Man City game, but and look, the pre-season game against Newcastle wasn't great as well. But now our season starts, in my opinion, and this is where we can learn from those mistakes and then really go at, really have a good go at it now.
100%, 100%. Yeah, like you say, against Man City, obviously there was many disappointing moments from individuals and the team as a whole, but nothing to kind of cry home about, so to speak. Because I do think come Leicester, the team will have learned their lesson and will want it. We'll want that win against Leicester. We've got something to prove now. Everyone has written us off. Although we've got technically nothing to play for, we still have everything to prove. I
love that from you, Doeke. I love that from you.
I appreciate that. But yeah, no, we do. We have everything to prove now and prove everyone. These TalkSport fucking morons. We can prove them wrong. We can prove them in the Premier League. We can prove them that we're good for the Premier League and that we're not cheating the system, so to speak.
I like that. Yeah, I think that's a really nice opportunity to move on. Of course, Leicester are going to be a quality side. I agree with you, mate. But there's a lot of teams who are going to have a lot of quality, and let's be real. We're a team who've got quality as well. So we need to kind of have that mentality and that aggression and not being so passive. But yeah, Leicester will be a tricky game. There's a few injuries that they have.
I do want to just say something. We say Norwich. Yeah, someone just said, "Are Norwich too passive? Are Norwich too nice?" Oh, don't disrespect Leicester. We've got to disrespect Leicester. If we want to win this game, we've got to disrespect Leicester. We can't be like, oh no, Leicester, they're really good. They're a really nice team. Play really good football. No, we fucking hate Leicester. We're going to beat them. Fuck's sake. God, sorry.
I like that, yeah. Just Kenny McLean slicing James Maddison in half. That's what you want to see, right?
Yeah, I always do it to Harvey Barnes.
Gets you going. Really he did, didn't he? And we have a good record against Leicester as well.
We do.
I will not be watching it, which I want you guys to take as a good omen, because there was a couple of, I've pretty much watched all the Norwich games, whether it be kind of, if I'm not there in the ground, I always try and follow it on the radio or maybe a cheeky foreign stream. But I will not be watching the Leicester game. I'm going to be at a festival, going to be at Reading Festival. So hopefully that will be a good omen, kind of me not cursing the team, because the few games I have not watched, we always seem to win. But yeah, we've got a good record against Leicester, of course. 1-0 win against them at Carrow Road. Jamal Lewis with a screamer, and a 1-1 draw at the King Power as well. So yeah, got a good record.
Yeah, exactly, and that's we do, and we can beat them. We can. We've done it before with a worse team. We had Andre Duda and Lucas Rook playing, and we still beat them. We can beat them. I'm positive.
That's getting me going. TalkSport.
Right.
I don't know how to bring up the conversation, mate.
Best way to do it, just say TalkSport. There's already got to go. You know what really, really frustrates me about the comments made by, I can't even remember the pundit's name on TalkSport. I don't really want to refer to him as a pundit because he does not deserve a job as a pundit. As someone who wants to be in the football media world myself, and I studied it. I study at uni. I get told relentlessly how important doing your research is and how much of a difficult field it is to get into if you don't do your research. Now, how comes there are pundits out there like this guy, Alex Crooks, that's his name, Alex Crooks and Jamie O'Hara, getting a living from being a pundit? They don't do any fucking research on the subject. They don't know anything about Norwich City. They're doing it for a few fucking clicks. And if you're a radio show that's doing that for clicks, you must be going downhill. You're in the mud. You're in the mud. Like that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It's shocking. And TalkSport have a massive following. They're a national radio, and we live in a world where clicks tends to get attention, and that's what TalkSport do. They've always been like that. I've always been someone who has actively avoided TalkSport, and not wanted to speak about them, but this thing, the things that were said, I think you have to talk about them. They're a national radio station, and look, I don't want to dwell on TalkSport too much, but some of the comments were actually absolutely shocking, and they're a national radio, one of the biggest in the country, and it's damaging.
100%. I'm going to read out the tweet that Jamie Hara said. I took a screenshot of it before he deleted it. Agreed. Should revoke their membership to the Premier League if it continues. Give teams a chance on Championship who actually want to stay in the Premier League and spend money. Okay, right. There are many fucking things wrong with that tweet, Jamie O'Hara. I hope you're watching this. You punch 14-year-olds, you fucking weird cretin. All right? Yeah? I'm going to have a rant. I'm going to have a little rant and rave right now.
Go for it.
Right. Spend money. We're the 7th highest spenders in the Premier League. Apparently, I read somewhere that we're also in the top 10 spenders in fucking Europe. Okay.
Yeah, about 55 million. I think we are 7th in the Premier League, mate.
And top 10 in Europe. We have spent money. And for that saying, who actually want to stay in the Premier League? Tell me one fucking team that goes to the Premier League and says, "Oh no, do you know what? We don't want to stay. We're going to go back. We're going to go back down. Yeah, we're going to go back down." No, every team wants to stay in the Premier League. Like, honestly, I hate Jamie O'Hara with an absolute passion. I don't hate many people, but Alex Crooks and Jamie O'Hara, after the comments they made towards our football club, saying that what was it? He said something about sporting integrity. What did he say, Lewis?
He goes on to say about the wonderful memories he had about watching Norwich City in the 90s, and then goes on to say that Norwich City don't have any ambition to stay in the Premier League. They should essentially spend without their means, and they lack the sporting integrity because they don't want to stay up in the Premier League because they don't spend money. And then goes on to talk about some of the Norwich signings who, in his opinion, are poor. And just essentially disrespects the club, saying that they lack the sporting integrity. And what made me laugh about this is, let's not forget, 6 months ago now, when Chelsea, Manchester City, Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal and Tottenham all wanted to run away from the Premier League. Arsenal wanted to run away into a Super League of 12 clubs so it can serve their pockets, so they can have £100 million more and dominate football. That, to me, lacks sporting integrity. And the fact that he says Norwich City have no ambition, okay, I get the comment, but the idea that we lack sporting integrity and the lack of research just really infuriated and pissed me off, mate.
I watched a clip, and just since then, I watched it last night. I was with a mate having a pint, got back home, and saw that. And honestly, I've never been so angry. I didn't want to tweet anything because I knew it. I was very hot-headed at the time. I'd say something that probably I didn't mean. I probably said something in this podcast that I don't actually know. I mean everything I'm saying in this podcast right now towards Alex Crooks and Jamie O'Hara. But what really pisses me off is saying that we have no ambition. Obviously, our fans have said multiple times we don't have ambition. But there is clear proof we fucking do. Because we're spending over 50 million on players. When Sheffield United did that and they finished 7th in the Premier League, everyone was, licking their arseholes near enough. They're like, oh, yeah, well done them. They've spent over 50 million this summer. They're doing really well. Norwich spent 50 million. Yeah, they're bad for the Premier League. Get them out. Never come back again.
And look at Sheffield United as well. They really went for it. They had a really good season. Congrats to them. They spent, I think, £60 million, and then they had a shocker last season, and they don't look like they're going to get back to the Premier League because they're not sustainable. Norwich City, for our bracket, is one of the most well-run clubs in terms of what we've been able to do from the route up. We were in a shit position 4 years ago when Stuart Webber came in. We were being run terribly, and the reason we were being run terribly. The reason we were being run terribly is because of exactly what's his name? What's this guy's name? Crooks. Crooks' name. Crooks' name. Yeah, the reason we was being run terribly is because what Alex Crooks was trying to promote. We spent as much money as we could within our means to stay up. 8 million on Closer, 8 million on Naismith. We neglected the roots, and that almost meant administration. We've built the roots up. Yeah. And we're in such a good position now financially. Okay, we're never going to be one of the top clubs just simply because we haven't got that money. But if we keep working at the project, there's a possibility that Norwich City can do really good things within our means. And it just absolutely infuriated me, that the lack of research. And yeah, that was it. Championship level signings, saying Rashika, Billy Gilmore, Ben Gibson are all championship level signings. There's just no research. And yeah, the idea that the £50 million, the complete neglect, saying Norwich City don't spend any money when they've spent £50 million, was something which is laughable on a national radio show. And Delia Smith and Michael Wynne-Jones have been on TalkSport. They're not going to be on it no more. Norwich City are going to cut ties with TalkSport.
100%. Obviously, I saw Chris Reeves say he's cutting his affiliation from TalkSport. For someone that wants to work in football media, football broadcasting, I want to do radio, I want to do TV work. I will never do TalkSport. Never. That's one thing I'm holding myself to, because it's a disgusting radio show. Now, how can you physically go out there and make comments like you have about a club you haven't done any research about? You're saying we make championship level signings. Billy Gilmore won the Champions League in the summer. It just doesn't add up in my head. And all this sporting integrity stuff. We had 6 Premier League clubs wanting to leave the Premier League and join Europe's big guns in your own invite-only league. Yeah, but we're quite bad for what we do, because we don't have the financial means to spend 100 million on Jack Grealish, to spend 50 million on the centre half. We have to settle for the likes of Ben Gibson, who I am happy with, by the way. I am happy with Ben Gibson as my defender, and it just baffles me. It's just mind-boggling that so-called pundits just come out with absolute fucking waffle.
Norwich City 2 years ago didn't spend a lot of money. We couldn't, and we tried to stick. We could have easily have sold Aaron's for 25 billion and reinvested it, but we decided to stick. We got things wrong. I was disappointed with some of Farke's comments saying it would take a miracle to stay up. I would get it, but the fact this time around, when we have deserved our place. We've got 97 points in the championship. We were close to beating records. We were absolutely exceptional in the championship. And for them to come out and say that we lack sporting integrity, that we should be revoked from joining the Premier League because we always go down. We don't spend money. We spent £50 million. It was just all an absolute joke, mate. And just really disappointing. As you say, you're someone who wants to work in broadcasting, to have a national radio show come out with this utter drivel is really poor.
Yeah, and I think that's what hurt me the most, because I'm I work full time on side of doing YouTube, and I started work at 6 a.m. this morning, finished work at 6 p.m. tonight. I'm now smashing YouTube. I'm going to be filming videos tonight as it goes. And for someone who's really putting in the hours to try and make their dream work, and there's people out there like Jamie O'Hara and Alex Crooks who don't do any research about the game.
I don't think Alex Crooks was even a footballer as well.
No, exactly. He's a full.
Yeah, it really annoys me that full stop, that a lot of footballers get on TV just because they were footballers, and I know they can offer an insight into the game, but when it's really poorly educated, I don't get that.
You do have a few football ex-pros who are really, really good pundits. Micah Richards, Jamie Carragher, Gary Neville, Roy Keane, not Graham Souness, he's a prick. But yeah, you do have good ex-pros that have turned to good pundits. But then at the same time, you have pundits who are a pundit as their job, make a living from being a pundit, who are absolutely shite because they don't do their research. And they say disgraceful comments like Norwich lacks sporting integrity. Norwich should be revoked from the Premier League because we simply don't have the financial means to keep up with fucking Manchester City, who have £1 billion squad.
And we've spent 50 million this summer.
Exactly. And we're all over the moon by that, but we're being made to feel like we're not doing enough. We've broke the bank to make some signings this summer.
And you know what would happen to Norwich City if we did what TalkSport want? We'd be in League One. We'd be in League One. As simple as that. We'd be close to administration. Wow. They have to spend within the means, and now we can do that.
To be fair, Not a bad thing. We could have an East Anglian derby again. We'll be another bloke before we have another one of those. So yeah, not a bad thing from TalkSport. No, but on a real like,
well, they're close to relegation, so I'm not sure about that at the moment.
Exactly. But no, it just really does. It just really it gets to me like when pundits make comments like that, because you'd think you'd do a bit of research, you'd get an understanding why Norwich are a self-funded club, why every fan that supports Norwich City is completely behind the owners, completely behind Stuart Webber, completely behind Daniel Farker. There isn't a coincidence. It's not because we're all got yellow and green tinted glasses on. It's because there's a project at place. We're happy being a self-funded club. We're doing the right thing. We are doing football the right way.
That's it.
And
we're one of the best well-run clubs.
We are. I will say this now. We are the most well-run club in England, English football. We are the most well-run club in English football. Name another owner that loves... I mean, apart from Leicester. Actually, Leicester probably is up there. But I'd say we're one of them. But name another club that has owners who are fans of the club, love the club, always communicate with the fans. You know, you see that. You don't see this from many Premier League clubs, by the way. There is, like, connections from players down to the fans. You know, so you can see that connection. You can see that sort of cohesion with everyone involved at the club. You don't get that at many clubs. You look at those top 6 clubs that are all going to go to fuck off to that Super League. Have they got that? No.
Yeah. And there's going to be a few people who obviously want Norwich City to be as successful as possible and want Delia. You would want Delia to leave, and I get that. You know, I get that in a fantasy world. Of course, I'd love, you know, billionaire owners to come in, but it doesn't always work like that. Sheffield Wednesday are one club, and there's so many other clubs where big owners come in with a massive net worth and they do not care about the club. They let it rot. Sunderland, Sheffield Wednesday, Coventry. We could come up with a whole list of them, mate. Actually, Cameron, Sporting Integrity. Have we forgotten the teams that wanted to leave this league? He generally made me want to lose brain cells. Yep. Also, how poor Brentford will be under the spotlight. It's a really good point. Norwich City were praised when we beat Newcastle, Man City, because it was the trendy thing to do. When Brentford go for a few losses, we'll wait to see the scrutiny which comes under them being a small club.
And again, that's not fair. Brentford don't have the finances that.
I would argue Brentford are you know, one of a really well-run club as well. You know, close to us, because they are fundamentally a small club, but year on year, the way they've managed to churn out players. You know, they've got a ground, they've got owners which should be towards the bottom of the Championship League One, but the way they've year after year transfer sales building more and more energy, they've deserved Premier League football.
100%, and the fact is they're so similar to Norwich in so many ways. You look, you know, it reminds me, you know, when they sold Ollie Watkins, they sold who has a side, Ben Rama, like selling your best player. I mean, Neil Morpay, you know, selling your best player like year on year sort of thing. Not maybe this summer because they've actually got promoted, but like it reminds me of Norwich. They're selling Wendia, selling Maddison, selling Pritchard, the likes of that. And it does remind me of Norwich in many ways. And I'm a huge fan of Brentford as well. Yeah, I really want to see them do well as well, and kind of prove all these people who are saying that, you know, anyone that comes up from the Championship deserves to, like, it's literally saying anyone that comes up from the Championship now, if you lose your first 2 games, you deserve to get relegated, no matter who you play.
Arsenal lost to Brentford as well. You know, it's mind-boggling, isn't it? It's absolutely mind-boggling. And yeah, Cameron makes a really good point as well about TalkSport and absolutely ridiculing Robbie from AFTV. This is a really important point I want to stress. TalkSport are known for and the way they make their clicks and the way they build their brand is through controversial opinions. If you look at actually a lot of people on TalkSport, there's very few pundits on there regularly with integrity. You know, it's about Alan Brazil and Gabby Abonyohor and Jamie O'Hara. There's pundits on there with a lack of integrity. There's pundits on there, with a lack of integrity. And for me, that's how TalkSport do it. They do it with their clicks. That is. You know, fine.
I think the whole point of research, I don't know if this was clicks or the fact that Gabby Bonhor just did fuck all research. Well, I think after the Man City game, he said this was what did he say again? It was like, if Norwich could actually spend money, they could stay up.
Should we get Gabby as our sporting director? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's got his spot on. We have spent 50 million. We are the 7th highest spenders in the Premier League.
I think we should have Gabby and Michael Owen. Michael Owen with the philosophy. If we put the ball in the back of the net, we will score goals. We'll score goals. I think we're onto something there.
Oh yeah, that's the way to do it.
But that's the thing. That's the thing with a lot of media as well, and a lot of YouTube. You clickbait. You want to get people talking, and that's okay. If you want to do it that way, that's absolutely fine. If you want to clickbait, and sometimes you have to be ruthless. TalkSport are in an industry where they're trying to be ruthless and they're trying to get clicks. And what they've done, what their brand is, their brand has worked because now we are talking about it. But at what cost? Because TalkSport's integrity, and it has gone for a number of years, has gone. And yes, okay, they might get clicks here and there, but the integrity of the brand has gone. And for me, with the BK8 deal, the way BK8 wanted to promote betting, that's absolutely fine. That's their decision, and TalkSport can do what they want. But as a national media broadcast, they have a responsibility, particularly when there's lots of people who want to come up and do sports journalism, to do their research. They have a responsibility as a national media research just to do the bloody basics and get the basics right. And it is deeply disappointing because there'll be people who will watch it who are maybe uneducated about the topic, and they will agree. And this is so troubling for football when Norwich City are being painted as the bad guys in the Premier League. It blows my bloody mind, mate.
It does, especially after the whole ESL thing. And now everyone's looking at Norwich and being like, oh, you're the bad guys of the Premier League. You don't spend enough money. Your owners aren't rich enough to compete with us. Why is football now about how rich your owners are, not how good you are on the pitch? Why has it come to that? 5-10 years ago, it was like, oh, how good are you on the pitch? If you're good enough on the pitch, you can stay in the Premier League. And that's how football should be. Now it's all about how rich are your owners.
Yeah.
And that
it's damaging, mate. It's damaging. I think we've spoken about TalkSport enough. Obviously, really, really disappointing to see. Any kind of final comments on it, mate?
Jamie O'Hara is a prick, and Alex Crooks is a twat. Both need to do research before they start spouting shit again.
That's it, mate. That's it. I think it's almost a nice way to end. Well, let's finally talk a bit about Bournemouth. We've got Bournemouth in the cup tomorrow, Leicester on Saturday. How are we feeling about Bournemouth, mate?
I'm excited. I love a cup. I do love a cup run. The FA Cup a couple of seasons back was fantastic. Reaching the quarterfinals. Unfortunately, we couldn't go to the quarterfinal game, but that round of 16 game at Spurs was absolutely that was mesmerising. It was a great day. On the whole, I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to seeing some of the newbies play. Christos Zolis and Brandon Williams. Definitely, I want to see Josh Sargent start. I know I want him to start Saturday as well, but I do want to see him start. I want to see what he can do starting from the off. I think off the bench, we've seen he can be an impact sub. He can be that player. But what can he do from the off? I maybe want to see a two up top, Adam Eder and Josh Sargent, see how they work together.
Kieran Dowell as well.
Yeah, I want to see Daldinho start. I think it's very, very harsh on that. He got dropped after a very, very decent pre-season, actually. Yeah. I thought that was very, very harsh on Kieran Dowell. Barley Mumba and Brandon Williams, I want to see start. Omar Bamadeli, want to see him play. I want to see Angus Gunn in goal. I think Krul needs to be rested. Wasn't his greatest game. And Tomsky, who said it down in the comment section, Dow should be starting over Rip. I fully agree. 100%. But yeah, no, I want to see some new faces, see what they can do. Christos Solis, I want to see start. Want to see what he can do. But yeah, no, looking forward to it. And obviously Leicester at home, we spoke on that, and I'm excited.
Yeah, definitely that, mate. And yeah, in terms of my team, Angus Gunn, Williams, Omar Bamadeli, Zimmerman, Max Aarons, Sorensen and Kenny McLean, and then the front three of Zulis, Kieran Dowell, Josh Sargent on the right wing, just putting it out there, and Adam Eder up front. That's my team. Yeah,
no, I like that. I think I think mine would be the same, but I'd probably kind of play Dowell as an inverted winger.
Okay, yeah.
And then start two up top, because I kind of want to see if Farkham could potentially take a different approach in the Premier League. Maybe two up top could be more fitting for us,
Yeah, maybe Sargent and
Steve Morris,
Pookie. Yeah, definitely. It could even help Pookie out as well. Yeah, any final predictions for that game, mate? And Leicester coming up.
Go for a 1-1 penalties.
Oh, that's not very optimistic, Doeke.
Oh no, but you'll wait this one. Christoph Zimmerman.
He's coming again.
It's 4-4. We're taking a second penalty. So obviously we've gone last. It's our 5th penalty. Bournemouth have just missed theirs. Angus Gunners just tipped it over. Christoph Zimmerman steps up for our 5th penalty, and he anchors it. Limbs everywhere, jumps in the bar. Happy days.
I can't wait to see one of these come through. When was the last time there's been a penalty shootout? It's been a while in the cup, right? I guess it's Tottenham, isn't it?
Well, we do have good records, so yeah.
There we go.
I'm always faithful, always hopeful.
There we go. Yeah, there we go. It'll be a really interesting one to come. And yeah, finally on the TalkSport, I mean, yeah, calling out all the Norwich City legends and then say it was criticism was weird. And this is a really kind of sad but damning comment. TalkSport is exactly why I decided instead of being a sports journalist, change to being a physio. It feels like a different world these days. Wow. It's the way we're going with clickbait and YouTube. And look, we're talking about TalkSport at the moment. They have every right to do it, but as a national media broadcast, it's deeply unsettling. And you wanted to be a sports journalist, so it really shows how damaging when clickbait and lack of research is kind of becoming the norm nowadays.
I think it's clickbait to a certain extent. I think, isn't there, that you can kind of allow if you, let's say for example, in my thumbnail I put when we played Gillingham at home, it was outrageous Cantwell assist.
It's part of the norm. It's part of the norm.
That's again, that's clickbait because that's your selling product. But at the same time, there's clickbait and then there's spouting shit and then using that as clickbait. So I guess there's 2 different forms of it in some sense. But yeah, what TalkSport do is completely. I think that's morally and ethically wrong on a lot of levels. For us YouTubers, maybe using outrageous Cantwell assist sort of thing in your thumbnails and your titles. I think that is absolutely fine because that's your selling product.
Yeah, but in terms of in journalism, it's real disappointing to see. How has it affected you, Doeke, seeing when you see a lot of big broadcasts show a lack of responsibility and a lack of integrity and spout shit, which can be really problematic because it shows Norwich is the bad guys of football. How does that affect you?
Yeah, it affects me a lot, I would say. It does upset me because I'm working harder than ever to achieve my dream of being a football broadcaster, either being on a radio or TV, like I said earlier. And it does hurt to see that I'm putting so much effort in doing so much research on football in and out, from different leagues as well, learning all these players, learning all these teams, learning how they play, how these teams are run. And I'm seeing people who earn a living as a pundit who aren't ex-professional footballers like Alex Crooks, and just spout utter shite but earn a living from it. And I'm kind of just sat there like, why am I working my bollocks off when people like him clearly have done fuck all research and are, earning a living from it?
And you can extend this to bigger issues in society as well in terms of this kind of the lack of research. And it's deeply damaging. But as long as there's people fighting it and, follow the Athletic, that they're probably one of the best in terms of what they do. And that's what would be my underlying message in terms of life. Just show integrity, show research in whatever you're doing, and you'll be all right, won't you?
100%, mate. 100%.
And of course, if people want to find Doeke, of course, who's full of integrity, as you can see from this hour or so on this stream, where can they find you, mate?
Well, the link is in the description. If not, it is my name. The channel is literally my name, Doeke Dobma. So that's DoekeDobma. My match day experience from Manchester.
Oh, sorry. I decided to kick you off now, mate. Start again.
My match day experience from Man City away is out on my channel. So yeah, if you want to go watch it, see what I got up to on the day. And you might see a crazy score prediction. Where I actually got it right. I think I said 5-0 at the start of my video. It ended up being 5-0. So But yeah, my channel name is literally my name. So the one that you can see on the screen, there, that one, that's my channel name. If not, I'm pretty sure there's a link in the description. So go click on that.
Brilliant,
Go
yeah.
subscribe.
Head over and follow Doeke if you haven't already. Similar stuff to Norwich City Central here. Thank you everyone for watching. This has been a exactly hour-long stream right on cue. Thank you everyone for all your support. I really appreciate it. It's been lovely to talk to everyone, see all the comments, and yeah, we'll be back here next week, hopefully talking about Leicester, and yeah, having a really nice time. Let's not talk about TalkSport.
That did make me laugh because we kept looking at him. I think there's a bit of a matchday vlog where my mates, you can see my mates in front of me, they're pointing at him. They've just spotted him and they start pointing at him, and it's brilliant.
If the kid did that to the people at TalkSport, I think it'd be a much happier society, wouldn't it, mate?
100%, 100%. Yeah.
Thank you for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. It's been a great chat, and yeah, we'll see you later. Thank you.
Cheers, guys.